Hi, how you going? It's Ronnie again, and I'm in a bloke called Greg Summerton shed today. We're looking at the bikes, getting ready for Harley Davidson Select Beach on the 16th and 17th of February. Now, poor old Greg last year, he was out there and he worked on everyone else's bike, sidecars, solos, built them for them, had a bit of success with his bikes as well. So this year he's getting to have a dip himself. So here we are with Greg, and this is his Velo. He's going to tell us a bit about it. And the first thing I noticed that these wouldn't be standard, Greg.
No, hairpin valve springs, while they were very, very common in race bikes pre-war, because the metallurgy of the time was not all that brilliant as far as spring materials goes, and valve springs used to be prone to breaking, but the hairpin valve springs were brilliant because they used a lot more wire in it and they didn't bend as much per length, and so it lasted well. And of course, even though this one actually had coil springs on it originally in 1935, the race guys at the time put Manx Norton springs on, or Norton springs on, as they would have been at that point. But no, it's a 250 Velocette MOV model. Basically, I think they came out in 35, 34. There are a few people in Australia at the time cast up new drive-side crankcases. Les Diener had a set of patterns. I don't know where these ones came from, but Tom Medlow told me that he had them made up. First time he told me about it, he said they were tramways pistons, and I thought, well, that's a bit weird. Trams don't have pistons. But then I remembered that back in the day, the bus service and the tram service were combined in Adelaide, and it used to be the Municipal Tramways Trust, MTT. So what he meant was bus pistons. It took me a while. To wake up what he was on about. So he cast up
old bus pistons to make the
bus
crankcase.
Pistons to make the crankcase.
Right.
And
ingenuity at its best.
I think the bike passed through quite a few hands, and Jack Nan owned it at some stage and had Peter Westerman on board. I think that would have been late 50s, early 60s, or thereabouts, probably early 60s. And Peter raced it for a while until the newer Japanese bikes were coming in and were too fast, and then he, with his job, moved up to Darwin. I think he bought it off of Jack just as a thank you sort of thing, because it was really not worth much. And I don't know, time moved on and it just sat in the shed, and I think it got disassembled a fair amount. And then when Les Diener retired from working and classic racing was starting to take off, Peter was encouraging people to come out and have a bit of classic racing. So So he lent one of his other bikes to Les and got him infected again. And Les wanted his own bike, and so he bought this, and much to his surprise he discovered it was the ex-Tom Medlow bike that already had his good cams, close ratio gearbox and all the goodies in it.
Bit of luck.
And away he went, and of course he sort of picked up where he left off, winning everything. And but years later, when he built a replica of his double overhead cam bike that had replaced his original his own MOV back in the 50s, he sold it to me because he said, well, you know, you can't ride two 250s, so I was very, very lucky to get this little
to win
girl.
this bike.
Yeah. And so, she's just quick. She's excellent.
And you rode it for a fair while?
Yeah, I rode it for quite a few years after '86, very regularly, and managed to improve it a little bit. It was quite funny because Les and I used to travel down to Mount Gambier to race meetings together, and he was getting his double overhead cam version faster and faster, but for quite a while I could actually still beat him. Then he won't
walk home, mate, was
it? He got a bit disappointed once there because he figured that the modifications he'd done to the double knocker weren't as good because I was beating him again. And then he saw some lap times and realised we were both going fast, and he said, "What have you done to it?" So it was good fun. We had some good times actually together.
That's it, even a little handy clip there, Greg, just so you can undo things and instead
Yeah.
of lock wiring it all together. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, well, that's a bit of a new addition. There's a guy in Western Australia, God, I can't think of his name, but he's on Facebook.
Rock dog.
If anyone wants any, just give me a yell and I'll point them.
No
Yeah,
worries.
just a handy little thing so you don't have to keep cutting and retwitching the
Twitching,
wire on
yeah.
things that you need to get at, you
You're
know.
done.
But
Beautiful.
No,
Oh,
nice
anyway,
little
Greg.
touches.
Thanks very much, mate.
Not a problem.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks down there at the Harley Davidson Sellers Beach races. And get your, it's not far away, so get your tickets at Ticketek. And you can't buy tickets at the gate, so it's a big thing. So thanks, Greg, again for showing us all your stuff. And
Not a problem.
Awesome. And see you in the sand, eh?
Will do.
You
See
betcha.
ya.